Hello, nerds!
Hello, nerds!
Hello, nerds!
Hello, nerds!
Hello, nerds!
Hello, nerds!
Hello, nerds! Hello, nerds!
Hello, nerds!
Hello, nerds!
Hello, nerds!
Hello, nerds!
Welcome back to the show, Sola. How have you been?
Thank you. Thank you. I've been phenomenal. How have you been over there on the West Coast?
Oh, you know what? We're counting down the days. We're really hoping that things turn around, and maybe maybe this is like hitting bottom, and there's only one direction we can go. But I know it's interesting. Not everybody in the Yang Gang is as excited about November as I am, but I'm super excited. I cannot wait. I have in my background. Oh, you can't see it, but there's a moving truck. There's a moving truck in front of the White House, and I'm ready to start that truck up, baby.
we should get a Yang truck parked right there. We need a Truckers for Yang truck. Great premonition for the near future.
That's right. We will. I will pay to take all that shit out of there. Take it all out and drop it right off in front of Trump Tower. No problem.
I will donate to that GoFundMe. I'm all about it. Let's do it.
So what have you been up to? I know Fred was on a few weeks ago talking about some of the promotion of down-ballot candidates, and it sounds like work continues in that front.
It absolutely does. So, I think when he was on the show last, he probably mentioned that when we decided to wrap, no pun intended, wrap up the wrapping of the trucks. We were thinking, what's next? How can we move the conversation regarding UBI forward? How can we move the conversation regarding ranked choice voting forward? And a few months ago, we just decided that supporting down ballot candidates was the most tangible way to continue moving that ball forward. So we selected 4 candidates. This is about 3 weeks ago. We selected them. Donna Imam's ad, we launched it about a week and a half ago. So her ads have been running since then on Facebook and on YouTube pre-rolls. And then we also dropped the David Kim and Marilyn Strickland videos just day before yesterday. And it was great to have Andrew retweet it, and it's phenomenal to have his support with this because that's what we're going to be doing for the next several weeks through the election. And we have another video coming for Jermaine Johnson, and we haven't announced it yet. It'll happen this week, but we'll be supporting 2 Senate races.
Ooh, look at you guys! You're going. You're not messing around. It sounds like things are accelerating, if anything else.
Yeah, there's only one direction at this point, and that's forward, right?
Right on. Which ad has gotten the most has resonated the most with the audience?
So Donna's ad has been out the longest. So now we have a better handle on what that voter base looks like. And there's been some really interesting things that have come on while running the campaign, which I'll get into more. But since Marilyn's and David's just dropped yesterday, we don't have a lot of metrics on that front yet. I will say though that after Andrew retweeted Marilyn's video, she's gotten 14,000 views on Twitter alone. So once we launch it on Facebook and on YouTube, and we start kind of playing around with the targeting, then we'll know really what the impact and engagement looks like and how strong her message is, or where we need to focus on in regards to further drilling into targeting and positioning her online and her messaging online.
Yeah. Do you, I love a good political ad. Do you mind if I show a couple of these?
Oh, no, go for it.
All right. So let's see. I'm on your Twitter on @TruckersForYang. Is that the best place to find them?
Yes, you can find that there. Marilyn's is pinned to the top. So that
I'm kind of a fan of Marilyn's. Let's watch hers, and then we'll get to the others in a second. Let's see. Give me 1 second to share with audio. Share audio. Boom, boom. And then we're going to go to the beginning.
Marilyn Strickland's story is as American as it gets. The daughter of a soldier and an immigrant, Marilyn Strickland was raised to serve. As mayor of Tacoma, she led the way on technology, small business, and equality. Marilyn Strickland
Whoops.
has always been a uniter. In Congress, she'll unite people behind bold ideas like green energy, universal health care, and universal basic income. Marilyn Strickland, all American, all ready for Congress. Paid for by TFY PAC, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Marilyn.
All right. So that was Marilyn.
That was Marilyn.
And then, oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say, so one of the things we really like to do with the ads is showcase the personalities. So we do watch a lot of content on the candidate. We do watch how they communicate to their constituents, and we really try to craft the video in a way that's authentic to them.
Yeah, because you can't actually coordinate with any of these campaigns as a PAC. So what you could do is just sort of see the vibe and try and extend it based on what you're seeing. And how would you describe Marilyn's approach? You know, what makes Marilyn Strickland, like what's part of her personality that you were trying to get there?
Well, what's really interesting is that, and a lot of people probably don't know this, but she started as a tech executive before she became the mayor of Tacoma. And she has a track record in working across the aisles to push policies. And I feel like that kind of diplomatic, not soft-spoken, but strong leadership quality needed to show through, you know, her ability to connect with people, her ability to connect with other politicians that might not necessarily agree with her stance. So that's what we try to communicate throughout the video. This is a firm, strong leader that is ready to engage with the people, and as well as with politicians across the aisle.
Yeah, that's the thing. I had the opportunity to have Marilyn on the show recently.
Oh, wonderful.
And I noticed the same thing, that it's ironic because people talk about the current president as like, technically he's a business leader. But he's not in the
That's debatable.
right. But he's not a professional manager in the sense that I think a lot of us think of people making complex decisions, developing a strategy, executing, following through, building a team. And I felt like I sensed a lot of that in Marilyn, that she's been there and done that, and she knows how to lead, but she also knows how to come up with a plan. Yeah. And that was very encouraging. So it sounds like that Marilyn ad is fresh off the presses.
Yes,
And you were saying that the Donna one is the one that's gotten the most traction, I think partly because Andrew got the retweet out there.
No, Marilyn's actually that
was
released. Yeah, that one's had 14,000 views so far, but Donna's is still running on Facebook as well as on YouTube. I was going to mention too, though, like the positioning it's been very interesting. She's in Texas, and you'll see it's definitely an election year. There's a lot of enthusiasm from Trump supporters, let me put it that way. So we do find ourselves kind of managing that conversation a little bit. You'll see that we've seen that people who are voting for her, people who skew to the left, they're less likely to engage in the comments area because of that intensity of the Trump supporters. So we've been kind of playing around with some ways also to manage that, whether it's hiding some comments on some videos and allowing those other comments to rise up, or sometimes leaving some of the comments and seeing how else we can change the messaging to encourage more people to engage directly. So that's why it's been an interesting experience.
I think I found Donna's ad. Let me pull that one up.
Okay.
Give me 1 second.
And actually, our YouTube is probably the easiest way to grab all of them. They're all up on YouTube on Truckers for UBI.
Oh, all right. Well, I'll do that for the subsequent ones. Here we have Donna.
Donna Imam isn't a politician. She's a Texan engineer, an entrepreneur, a nonprofit innovator, expanding education, revolutionizing healthcare, raising wages and the standard of living. She's done the math on all of it. That's why Donna Imam has been endorsed by so many people, we had to cram them into this ad. Donna Imam knows how to supercharge the American dream and make it work for everyone. Donna Imam does the work, and she won't stop when she makes Congress. Paid for by TFY PAC, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
All right. That's a pretty good one. Pretty snappy.
Yeah. That was the very first one. I'm very happy with that one. So
you're saying you've attracted, I'm guessing, I mean, I encounter a little bit of action on Twitter from time to time, and I'm guessing there's just a lot of like snarky socialist, not real American, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. You got it down. Yeah. What it does present though is an opportunity for education as well. So when people make a comment about UBI is socialism and socialism was one step from communism, et cetera, I personally feel like it's an opening for a conversation. And even if the individual that you're having that exchange with is not necessarily receptive, what is important to know, I think what is important for everyone here to know too, is that there are hundreds of thousands of people watching this and reading this, and there's so many more people that are passively digesting the content than engaging with it directly. So it's important for them too to have that kind of exchange spotlighted, and they can learn from it too. So I feel a lot of the times, especially for these videos that are going to have a long shelf life on these social media platforms that we're using for advertising, it's important to have that kind of engagement so that the people who are more passively viewing it will learn something.
I 100% agree with you. I often on Twitter, I'll get into these debates with these hardcore Trump supporters.
Yeah.
And then my goal is not necessarily to convince that person, because oftentimes I feel like they've dug in and there's no amount of data or logic or argument that will really kind of flip them. Yeah. However, I think you're pointing out the reality of social media is that for every one person tweeting, there's like 100 or 1,000 who are reading it.
Yep.
And if we just allow people to say like, well, that's socialism, and we don't respond, perhaps hundreds of people are going to read that and see, oh, maybe they're right, because there's no counterpoint to this. So yeah, it's always fun. Like actually I think just a few days ago, I was in some long debate with someone, and I would reply to them, and then I would retweet my reply, and they would like say like, well, why are you retweeting your reply? This is between you and me. And I'm like, no, I'm not really trying to convince you. I'm trying to expose your argument and sort of surface the counter argument so people can make up their own mind. But yeah, so I think that's great that you're doing that. Like, how has that been in terms of trying to engage in these debates so that there's a kind of a diversity of opinion, and it's not just a bunch of, kind of trollers?
Yeah, it's been intense. I think you're right in that a lot of people that choose to directly engage in social media, they already have their stance, they're already sold and committed. They're not necessarily interacting because they want to learn something. They're interacting because they want that, to be frank, that dopamine hit. They want to feel like, that argument is making them feel good, like they're right, like they're winning. I hope sports come back in full force after this, because I feel a lot of people are taking the kind of energy that they use in a spectator sport, and they're transforming it into their arguments and their debates on social media. So I think number one, it's been important to know who is there that is not necessarily even looking for information to change their own way of thinking, but at least willing to have that conversation.
Totally.
Some people are there to just post their Trump memes, and post their Confederate flags, and post their hate. And for that, there's no acceptance of that. on our page and on any of the ads. So on Facebook, any hateful messages are hidden or deleted, period. But when it comes to engagement that is not combative, that is not volatile, then that's an opening to have an exchange. And sometimes they will drop off. It's not like, I notice a lot of times on Twitter too, once someone either has learned something or they concede, you notice they kind of just fall away from the conversation. That's not to say that they haven't learned anything. In fact, I feel it's the opposite. They learn to such an extent that I hope that they're doing their own research, or they feel like it's a conversation or an exchange where maybe their footing wasn't as strong as they thought it was. So
now my understanding of the demographics of the different media platforms is that Facebook is actually a one of the kind of strongest areas of Trumpism. And I don't know, I haven't looked at the page in the comments, but is there any accusations about Donna's ethnic heritage that somehow colors whether they support her or not? I mean, she doesn't look like she comes from Germany, that's for sure. What's that like? Or luckily, are people just focusing on the policy?
Yeah, unfortunately, I believe that tends to be a part of how a lot of certain people will view a candidate, part of how they choose to position them in their own minds. So even though, like Trump, a lot of the times it's not a very explicit language that he uses to indicate that he doesn't like a certain people, that he doesn't like Black people. He does it in a offhanded kind of manner, and they do it in the same way, meaning that it's very unlikely that we will see, for instance, if it was a white male candidate, that we'll see the level of vitriol in the comments, and we'll see as much backlash in the comments and as much activity. And something silly, the behavior is interesting. And on Facebook, there will be certain people who will post 5, 6, 7 memes back to back in the same comment on the same post to flood it and take over and show their displeasure for the candidate. But what's great about Donna's ad too is that we have been seeing people saying, and it's not necessarily a policy conversation, but a woman chimed in after someone mentioned something about how they didn't like some aspect of UBI or of Donna, and another thing is the whole Beto O'Rourke endorsed her, so she's anti-guns and et cetera, being Texas. But then people will actually come into the comments and say, oh, it might not have anything to do with, does it possibly have anything to do with the fact that she's not Lily White? And they'll just straight up call the other person out, and there's that exchange typically concludes at that point. Like I was.
Yeah, you wonder what would it be like if a candidate, that looked more like Kayleigh McEnany had the same platform as Donna.
Yeah.
I don't know if the response would be the same from the Facebook commenters. I don't think it would be. I think they would probably have a lighter touch.
Yeah, that is the society that we live in. And that is the worst of it is online, because everyone's behind a keyboard, and I think a lot of us perform as if it's our entertainment rather than imagining another person on the other side.
Yeah,
so it's very unlikely that these kind of combative engagements would happen face to face.
So sounds like you have some Texas-sized debates going on in that comment section. It has not disappointed in terms of that state's reputation for doing stuff in a big way. Moving west and south, southern part of California, you've got David Kim going out there.
Yeah.
So let me show his ad. I think I found it, and we can talk about how that's going.
Okay.
All right, here we go. David.
Oh, that's actually, this is great too. This is from the basic income trial that he did in
Oh,
LA.
sorry. This is you retweeting him.
Yes,
Let me
yes,
see if
yes.
I can find.
Absolutely
Oh,
brilliant.
maybe I should have gone to your YouTube after all. Okay, hold on. Let me why don't you tell I'm going to go to Truckers for UBI on YouTube,
Okay.
and then while I'm looking for that, give us a little bit of background about this ad that we will see about David and how you guys put it together.
Yeah, so this ad about David, it started off a little differently. So his opponent, Jimmy Gomez, has been in the seat for, I'm not sure, I think this might be his third term, and second or third term. And he takes corporate money, he takes money from police unions, he takes money from many other interests that are not um, positive, and they're not of benefit to his constituents. And I don't know if everyone knows here, but David Kim does not take corporate funds, period. He doesn't take PAC money, and he certainly doesn't take money from special interests. So that's something that we did want to showcase, and his background as an attorney. So we want to position him in the right way, and position him as opposite of Jimmy Gomez without it being a negative ad, because our philosophy is that there are tons of negative ads out there already. We want to focus on the positives when it comes to positioning these candidates.
All right, let me see if I think I found it. Let me just make sure I shared the audio. Chrome Courage, I think it's called, eh?
Courage,
right.
yes, that's it.
Okay, here we go.
David Kim is fearless. He's not afraid to stand up for love, justice, community, and financial freedom for all. The son of immigrants who became an attorney, David Kim wants to prove that America can live up to its ideals. David Kim won't take money from corporations, and he won't back down from the fight for Medicare for all and the Green New Deal. We need David Kim's courage in Congress. Paid for by TFY-PAC, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
All right, that was a Kim ad. I like it. A little more feisty.
David's feisty. He's ready for the job, you know.
He is feisty.
Yeah. So we feel like that also really encompassed and represented his personality and what he stands for rather well, we hope.
Yeah. And what's been the response to that ad? What's the sort of reaction you're seeing?
Well, I mean, organically, which is in content that doesn't have any ad spend behind it. The response has been great. It's been mostly Yang Gang. So now we are going to be rolling out the Google ad and the Facebook ad, and for all three, the ads will be running through the election. But what we'll be doing is we start with the entire district, and then based on the engagement and performance on the ad, we do some split testing, and we dive deeper into the targeting. So we make sure that we're getting the best return on the investment of the ad dollars. But we'll see soon as to how David's ad performs on Facebook and on YouTube. Facebook really is a litmus test, I will say. I think what I think is a good signal for the upcoming election is that Trump supporters are so loud, and I think that's why we think there's so many of them. And I think this time around, we are all so over hearing Donald Trump's voice, and we're just so over any news related to him that I like to hope anyway that my friends and family and anyone who's over Trump as well and ready for him to go. I'm hoping that if you have been quiet, it's because this election is a non-brainer for you, no-brainer for you, and you're ready to go ahead and mail in that ballot for Biden or go to the polls and go ahead and make that vote. And there's no sort of question in your mind as to who should win. I'm hoping that's what the folks said, like in the Donna video, for instance. I hope that's what they feel when they look at some of this engagement, some of these comments. This hateful and very loud and consistent messaging from Trump supporters will turn people off and will move anyone who was even considering voting for Trump further away.
Yeah, I speaking of filling out your ballot, I did that just myself
Oh yeah, I think I saw
yesterday.
you post about that on Twitter.
I
How was
have
it?
I made a little video of me filling out the ballot. I got a little bit
cool.
fired up, but let me share it just in the spirit of watching videos together. Hold on one second. I thought it was fun. My kids were in it too.
Oh, cool.
Let's see here if I can. Donald Trump,
Joe
Hold on.
Biden.
Hold on a second.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Hello, nerds!
Wow.
The moment we've all been waiting for.
The voting time.
Voting time. Here we go, the official ballot.
Joseph R. Biden.
It's beautiful. You want to watch me do it? Here we go. We got Rocky de la Fuente Guerra.
Kanye.
We have, did you say Kanye's on here?
Kanye West. What?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Kanye, Omari West,
What?
Howie Hawkins, Joe Jurgensen, Joe Biden, Donald Trump, Gloria LaRiva.
Yeah, we don't like that. Yes.
We're going to go with, Donald Trump, Joe Biden. Crazy, boring and old. Liar, boring and old.
I think this one.
Got the COVID, boring and old. Third wife, boring and old. What should we do? Lies all the time, boring and old. Cheats on taxes, boring and old. I'm gonna go with the boring and old. Yeah. Baby. We got a message for you, Donald.
We don't like this.
We got a message for you, Donald.
Like this.
We got a message for you, Donald. We got a message for you, Donald.
Wow.
You know what? You're fired. You're fired, baby.
That's hilarious. The kids got it at it too. That's so funny.
I tell you, although one of my kids was starting to push me towards Kanye, I was like, no, man. No, Kanye,
boy.
not this time. Not this time.
Yeah, no.
Well, hopefully everybody out there sees the Trucker for Yang ads and supports Trucker for Yang PAC. Where can they go, Sola? What's your preferred place for people to find out more about the PAC?
Yeah, so the website was recently updated. So tfypac.org is the perfect place for them to go to learn more. You'll see Donna's video on the landing on the page. You'll see the additional videos will be added. Announcements will be made from there. So that's really the best place to go for the content itself. And then, of course, follow us on Twitter at Truckers for Yang. And that's where all our continuous real-time updates will go. And then also follow me on Twitter, Sola, SOLAO. And I post some content and items that are not necessarily on the Truckers for Yang Twitter.
Wait, what is your Twitter handle, Sola?
It's Sola O for my last name. So it's SOLAO.
Oh, I love it. That's such a great handle.
Thank you.
I mean, that's like, what is that? Only 5 letters?
5 characters. Yeah.
What?
Snag that.
What? That's badass.
That's Twitter OG though, you know.
Oh shit.
It was a minute ago.
Yeah. Seriously. Well, you're an early adopter. Well, Sola, thank you again for coming on the show. Thank you for all the work that you, Fred, and the rest of the TFY team are doing. It's so great to see, like, we're not giving up and we're still putting in the fight. And hopefully in 2024 there'll be a lot more activity and a lot more ads for a candidate that we all know and love.
Yeah, and 2022 as well. You know, we've got Erica Rhodes at the moment, and who knows who else is going to go ahead and pick up that mantle. So I'm just excited, period, for the future. And we will always continue to do everything. Paget asked me, you know, what's the end goal? What's the goal here for this initiative and for your future activities? And I said, passing UBI. We got to get UBI passed. Once UBI is passed, then you know that major objective has been fulfilled. So
I agree. I also think there will be less, it won't eliminate, but I think there would be less hate and less division when people don't have so much scarcity in their lives, and they feel like they have the basics. So I think a lot of this anger, it comes from a place of fear and a place of anxiety. And to the extent that we can kind of get that economic floor for everybody, I think it would be, it will have benefits way beyond even the kind of economic benefits, but also for the social discourse and the kind of division we're seeing.
And health, a lot of times too, the way people communicate is based on, physical pain and stress. And a lot of us do have that, and it's underlying, and we've experienced it for so long that it's now our baseline. So we can't even really comprehend what it would feel like if that stress was gone, because we've never quite experienced that before, unless before in our recent memory. So yeah, I think there's a lot of not only this pain within our social fabric that will be positively impacted, but also honestly physical pain that a lot of us are experiencing, and is even being exacerbated in people with chronic pain right now during this stressful time.
Well, let's hope that things are going to get way better over time, and only because of the hard work we're all doing. So everybody out there that's watching this, please vote. Please fill out your ballot.
Yes.
Drop it off early and do your part. Whoever you vote for, just vote. Just participate.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll be a better country for it.
Yeah, let's vote Trump out. So Biden-Harris 2020.
Let's get that truck. Warm up that truck, baby. I'm getting ready, man. Put all the gold-plated toilet bowls and whatever he has in there.
Yeah. Moving day.
That's right. All right. With that, we're going to say goodbye, nerds.
Goodbye.